Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I will be reviewing the GPD Win 5 handheld. So I had this about 6 months. It just came out like last year. I had it on pre-order and I did buy it for cheaper than it is right now, since a lot of the prices out there has increased. I bought it for $1,680, and now you can get this for like $2,300 for this kind of model, because this is the 2 TB version, 32 GB, 395 plus Ryzen. So yeah, let's go over the specs really quick. So this is the AMD Ryzen 8 Max Plus 395 Strix Halo. It has 16 cores, 32 threads, using a Radeon 8060S GPU. TDP and cooling, 85 watts TDP. This display supports a 120 Hz VRR screen. So there are dual modes trigger, where you can adjust the triggers here to make it either go all the way down, or if you want to do a shorter press. So like the Nintendo Switch versus doing a full trigger. You got 2 back buttons over here. Battery pack, 85 watt hours. Or 80 watt hours. They give you 80 watt hours on this one. And then right now you also have a mini SSD slot over here. Right now there's not much use for it, except there's only like one company that makes a SSD for it, and it costs like $500 for like 2 TB. So I don't think it's worth using this slot just yet. I hope that in the future maybe they can turn this slot into like a Oculink or something like that, like convert this to an Oculink and then use the Oculink to hook up to a eGPU, because I don't like to use Thunderbolt 4 because it's not as fast as Oculink. And too bad this handheld didn't come with Oculink, which is unfortunate. So we got a USB-A port and a USB-C Thunderbolt 4 port, and then the barrel jack with a 55-25 millimeter to plug that in, and you got your audio jack. And then at the bottom you have another USB-C port, 3.2 I think. So this thing weighs about 565 grams or 1.24 pounds without the battery, and when you have the battery it adds an extra 350 grams, which makes it a total of 915 grams or 2.01 pounds. So I like to play it without the battery. I like to move around a lot, and like I like to play it at different parts of my apartment. So I like to either play it here, or relaxing on my bed and just playing it on here. Or sometimes when you're using the toilet, you can always take it with you and also play it on the toilet if you're having a little bit of hard time. Or even just play it near the window to get some fresh air in. So a lot of the times I have this power brick, which is a 200 watts or 180 watts. So yeah, it's very versatile. You don't need it to exactly have a 20 times 9 for 180 watts. You can have like a 20.5 times 9.23, which this is one I have right now. I bought like 4 of these, so that I have one in like the living room, one in the bedroom, one in the bathroom, and basically one everywhere, so that I don't have to attach the battery all the time. I could detach it because the battery is making the handheld significantly heavier. So I cannot imagine like handhelds like this powerful having the battery inside, like certain other companies that are doing, because it makes it so heavy that you can't really play it. But if you take the battery off and start using it, it's really game changing, because the handheld becomes even lighter and you have a full-on PC at the palm of your hands. Like you could play almost any game at full power using this with the barrel jack plugged in. Obviously you're not going out and having the barrel jack with you unless you have an outlet near you. But if I were to go out and use this, I will have the battery, but when you're going out, you're already sitting in an upright position and you're probably resting this on your lap anyway, so the weight wouldn't make too much of an issue for you. But when you're at home, you're laying down, you're having this, up like this, or you're laying on the side or things like that, it's gonna get too heavy with the battery on. So I like to just have that off when I'm at home, and when I'm traveling or something, I'll put the battery back on, and yeah, it works pretty well that way. So what I normally like to do is put this at like 24 watts no matter where I go. So even if I have it plugged in, I'm just putting it at 24 watts. Why? Because I think it's like the best case scenario, because when you play at a certain wattage on the handheld, even though it can go up to 85 watts, which I will use if I'm doing like on my, like if I plug it into an external monitor with the eGPU or something like that. But in this case, normally I put it at 24 watts because like I want it to be consistent throughout my entire playtime. So like if I were to attach the battery, at least I know that I'm still playing at 24 watts. All the graphic settings are the same and all that. So I don't have to worry about changing the graphic settings when the battery is on and then changing back the graphic setting when the battery is off and then playing at 85 watts. And not only that, 24 watts, the fan noise becomes like really silent versus like if you're putting this at 85 watts, it's going to be very, very loud. So right now I am running this at 24 watts, as you can see right at the corner over there. And yeah, this is a Where Winds Meet game, and as you can see the FPS is like 118 to 120 FPS. So yeah, this game can run pretty well at a pretty decent wattage. For some reason, the Steam Deck doesn't run this game very well at all, even though if you're having at max wattage versus this game, or versus this device. If you're running it at 18, 16 watts with this device, like how the Steam Deck runs, this device does work better gaming. I don't know why some people they put in real world, or they put in their testing that the Steam Deck is better power efficient uh, at lower wattage, but I think this device is good at lower wattage as well. So yeah, if you are listening to the fan, that's basically how loud it'll get at 24 watts. So now we are running Crimson Desert. It's going up to 80 watts now. So as you can see, almost 85. And this is the loudest you'll hear the fan noise. So need I remind you that you do need to have the barrel jack plugged in to run it at 85 watts. So, but if you are running at 55 watts, you could do it with the battery. And that is pretty much the sweet spot when it comes to gaming on this device. 55 watts is like the best power to performance ratio, and then it starts like diminishing returns after that. So one thing I'd like to point out is that when you're switching TDPs on the fly, you do need to be a little careful. If you're inside a game and it's really running intensively, and then you suddenly like swap to a very low TDP, like you're running at a very high TDP, and you swap really quickly to a low one, you're gonna crash the device and you're gonna have to hard reset the device. Because I did that a couple of times because I forgot to, lower the TDP when I was playing, and then I just did it on the fly, and then it just froze my entire game, and vice versa. So you're going from a low TDP, and then all of a sudden you boost it up to 85 watts, it will just crash. And sometimes it won't, sometimes it will. It just depends on what your device is feeling that day. Other than that, also you need to know that. Okay, so let's talk about some of the issues with the device. So the first issue is the power button. It's not that you're going to accidentally hit it and you'll power off your device. It's more of turning it on. So when your finger is covered, how long do you need to know that you're pressing it in order for this device to turn on, versus if you were trying to like release all the voltage in the device itself so that it can power on normally, right? Because once you cover this up, you cannot see that you either turn it on or on. So like if you press it, it's not going to turn on. You have to hold it. Now, depending on how long you hold it, depends on, I don't know, like you hold it for a while and it turns on, it'll have a white light, but you can't really see it. So right now I'm turning it on, right? Okay, so it lights up like that. So if you're in a very bright area, you won't be able to see that light through your finger, and then you won't even know, like, are you pressing it long enough to turn it on or something like that? So, which is something I did not like about it. I wish the power button was somewhere else so that it's easier for you to see, and how long you need to press it, or even a slight tap can open the device. But yeah, and it also acts as a fingerprint sensor, which 50% of the time it works, 50% of the time it doesn't. Okay, let's talk about the second problem with the device, is the cracking you'll see when you are running this device at 85 watts. So let's say if you're running at 85 watts, you can see that there's cracking already at near the vents area over here and over here and over here. So that's what happens if you run it at a high wattage. So the build quality is really bad on top of this device. Like this is the only place where I see cracking. Everywhere else is kind of okay, is fine. But the cracking, as you can see over up top, is gonna make the backside a little flimsy. See here, I can push this up and down. That means like I need a new like top plate. I don't know if they even sell that separately or anything like that, or if they would even reimburse me. But yeah, I never like to do warranty stuff, so yeah, I shouldn't say that. So another problem with this device, our third problem, is the USB-A port. So if you plug something in on the USB-A port while this is powered off and then you powered it on, sometimes your touchscreen will no longer work because for some reason it's like it's taking away the power from the touchscreen to use the USB-C or USB-A port. Uh, or other stuff will break when you have this plugged in before you turn it on. So sometimes my touchscreen doesn't work, and then sometimes like my mouse cursor doesn't work, and then sometimes the buttons don't work. So like if anything, you want to not have your USB-A plugged in when you turn it on. Once you turn it on and then you boot everything, then you can plug it in and everything will work fine. But for some reason, when it's off and you have something plugged in here like permanently, you're gonna run into a lot of bugs if this is plugged in when you turn it on. I mean, that is for my device. I don't know if your device is, if you have this device, it'll be any different. The fourth thing I did not like about the device is that it doesn't have a kickstand. Even with your battery pack on, it still doesn't work as a kickstand. So unfortunately, it doesn't have a kickstand. So now I'm gonna test out the eGPU. I'm gonna plug in my Thunderbolt 4 to wake up the eGPU. So one thing you need to be careful of is that if you have a super ultra wide screen like I do, as you see here, it is a 49-inch Samsung screen. If you have that, it's not going to work if you were to plug it into your normal dongles that you would normally have. So for example, if you have a dongle like this and it has a HDMI port or something that's like 4K or something like that, and you plug it into the device and you try to hook up the super ultra wide monitor to a dongle like this, it's not going to read it as super ultra wide. So it's going to stay at like maybe 4K, and you won't be able to take advantage of the 32:9. It will stay 16:9 ratio. So you would need an eGPU to process that, and my eGPU is over here, and yeah, it's a 7600 XMXT. So that's what's plugged in here. And if you want to know the performance between that having plugged in versus not having plugged in, they're about the same. If not, the eGPU of the device here is actually stronger than your eGPU over there. So if you were thinking about getting a GPD Win 5 and a 7600 MXT, don't, because the performance between the two is the same, and you're using less wattage for the performance on this device if you versus if you hook your eGPU up with this device. You'll use a little bit more wattage and get less performance. So you want to stay away from using a 7600 MXT with your GPD Win 5. I only got that because I was using the Legion Go before. So my plan was to actually get a eGPU socket so that I could put whatever GPU on it. I'm going to use my old GPU, which is a 4080 Super, which I have done already for this device, and it does improve the performance a lot. So that's what I'm going to try to do, because I want to try to use this handheld gaming PC as my main PC as well, because I take this console everywhere, or this PC everywhere. So yeah, I was planning on upgrading my PC GPU when the 6000 series of the NVIDIA cards come out, maybe by next year or the year after that, and then use my old GPU, which is the 4080 Super, and use that as an eGPU, and it will make my GPD Win 5 shine so much more, because I already attempted to use it and it was really great when I had my 4080 Super out of my main PC and use it as an eGPU. It was so great. it actually ran like a regular like computer. Like you didn't even know that you were having an eGPU on that thing. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. But then because I only have one GPU, I just took the eGPU out and put it back into my main. So all in conclusion or in summary, remember that when you're running this at high wattage, 85 watts, and the fan is going on, you're gonna have cracking up top, which sucks so much. And if GPT win 5 people out there, if you want to replace this part for me, please, I would want to replace it. And also the bug with the USB-A port. I don't know if people report a lot of the problems here, but for me, this device is having a problem with the USB-A port. And then I have no regrets purchasing this for $1,680. Like I think that is a steal at that price. I knew it when I first saw it when it was on pre-order. I was like, I'm gonna go and buy it now because I'm pretty sure this thing will increase in price when it releases, which is pretty much $2,400 right now for this exact same device. And yeah, that's like a 40-something% increase than what it is when I bought it. And I have no regrets. This device serves all of my needs at low TDP and at high TDP. From my experience, it's better than my Steam Deck at the same TDP, because when I run this at 16 watts, Steam Deck is also running at 16 or 15 watts. This outperforms the Steam Deck for me. For the games that I play, I usually play open world games. So yeah. Now, if I were to buy another handheld, I mean, like the only way or the only thing that I'm looking for if I were to purchase another handheld is if they have an Oculink port and is stronger performance at lower TDP than this device. Then I might consider it, but I don't think there's going to be any CPU at this current time, or even in 2 years, 3 years later. I think this is still going to be viable. Like this is pretty much future proofing for the next 5 years to play all the games that you need, because of how much TDP this thing can handle and how much you can adjust it as well. So yeah, I don't think I will be upgrading this device anytime soon. I mean, if I were, is just for more convenience, as I, don't have to take this around and just have one, GPD Win 5 on my station and then one over. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I have. If you guys have any questions and your experiences, please leave them down below with your thoughts on this device. Again, it is a premium device out there, but it is worth the cost. Like it's such a strong device. I mean, the CPU that this is in, like any of the CPUs that have the Strix Halo, is gonna cost over $2,000 anyway. So whether you have it in a handheld form or a laptop form, so yeah, you're gonna have to expect to fork over $2,000, which is not cheap at all. But if you were to think about comparing it with the other handhelds like the Legion Go 2, that thing costs just as much as this device as well. So that one doesn't have as much performance as this one. So yeah, make your decision there. Guys, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please subscribe.